जय श्री माता जी। हम सब श्री माता जी की चरणों में प्रणाम करके अपनी कुंडली चढ़ा के सामूहिक बंधन लेंगे। We humbly bow down to Shri Mataji's lotus feet, raise our kundalini and put our self bandhan. अपने चित्त को सार में रखते हुए ध्यान में रहेंगे और श्री माता जी की अमृत वाणी को आत्मसात करेंगे. नाउ वी विल लिसन श्री माता जी अमृत वाणी.
So very nice to come and meet you all here. Very kind of you to have invited me to your ashram. So you must have realized from the experience of these 2 days program that we had, though it looks formidable in the beginning, it's not so difficult to achieve results and to get people realized. I find all of you have been very sensible and you worked it out very well. It was such a pleasure, such a joy for me to see that you gave realization to so many people and you managed to convince them about Sahaja. It is very difficult in these modern times, especially in the country like America and others of the same kind. I'll have this in the hand, it's better. That it's impossible for people to know that there is anything beyond. Of course, unknowingly they are seeking, unknowingly. They are not even aware that there is a possibility of their getting a self-realization. And so many fake people have arrived that they think it's another kind of a go shopping that they have to go through. And when I came first to America, I think the first country I came to was America in a way. I had gone to Iran before that because my brother was there. And when I came first to America, it was a surprise to me in so many ways that they came to my lectures, quite a lot of them, in every place I went to. But they did not understand what I was saying, what I was trying to communicate to them. And they did not like that I told them that they have to be careful about people who take money from them. There are no courses. I think there are these lectures somewhere with me, which I gave in those days. I didn't talk of negativity or anything, though I found the whole place was flooded with negative forces. All that was done in those days had an effect on the minds of the seekers. And that's how the seekers were lost. So many of them were lost. And again, what we find, that they are getting lost more and more. At this time, we cannot say in what area or what group or what part of the country will be able to work out better. But in any case, better in the West Coast, I think people are more reasonable about it. For you, it is a difficult task to talk about Sahaja Yoga. But I would say you should go all out, not to feel shy, not to make reservations about it. How they talk about their gurus all the time. You meet somebody in the plane sitting next to you, suddenly he starts talking about his guru. You are amazed when you don't know the person at all. He starts talking about his guru. So to open the topic, best is to wear something of my photograph or something, so that people ask, who is this person, to begin with. Or could be a badge if you can wear it, or if it is allowed to wear. Something like that if you wear and people ask you, you can talk, you can start talking. We have to talk. That's the only way we can spread Sahaja Yoga. Of course, you can have your programs, you can get people, you can give them realization, this, that. But to talk about it is important, because see, those people who have come much later than me, much later than me, to this country are so much well known everywhere, everybody knows about them. Now, of course, it is also true, the second point is that in Sahaja Yoga you have to become. You cannot just say that, all right, I have become a Sahaja Yogi. No, you cannot. Nor can you say, I am following Shri Mataji. That also cannot be said. Nor you can say that, all right, we have an organization or something like that, or I am wearing this just because she is my guru. You can't say that. You have to become. You have to become a Sahaja Yogi. If you have to become a Sahaja Yogi, then it has to be worked out. And that takes time. To rise from Nirvichara to Nirvikalpa, it takes time. For some people it takes more time. For some people it takes less time. Depends on the preparation of a person. Also I would say previous lives, good deeds, and this lives, understanding, so many things are there. So it takes time. But at least one can talk about it. So the atmosphere is created. You can talk to people, tell them that we have found the truth and it's very simple. You can't pay for it. It just works. It's spontaneous. It's a living process. It's an evolutionary process. You can talk like that. Not about me, but about Sahaja Yoga in an abstract manner. And it's such a wonderful thing. One should do it. All such talks are going to help us a lot. Though I would say those who listen to you may not get realization. But at least in the atmosphere it will be. And that is going to help us a lot. If it is in the atmosphere, people know that there is something like this coming up. For you people, of course, you have to work hard. And you have to become Sahaja Yogis. Becoming is a little bit a difficult task sometimes. Because there is this great Mr. Ego, or maybe certain conditionings, you see, that people can't give up. And that they find it difficult to get out. But if you know how to raise your Kundalini, she will manage it. She knows how to do it, and she will give you that status. But first and foremost thing is to meditate and to raise your Kundalini. Meditation is the only way you can grow. There is no other way out. Because when you meditate, you are in silence. You are in thoughtless awareness. Then the growth of awareness takes place. Then it opens out. But if you are thinking, supposing there's a lake and the lake is completely in a turmoil, nothing can grow. But supposing it is silent, then lotuses can grow, anything can grow in it. In the same way, if your mind is agitated and your growth is not yet fully expressing itself, then it's such a vicious circle that you are agitated and your growth is hindered. Again you are agitated, your growth is hindered. So the best way is to take to meditation. When you take to meditation, this turmoil will settle down. And when it will settle down, your growth will take place. After meditation, you will feel definitely that you have come out very well, you have grown very well. But for that, one has to be very honest. You cannot force people to be honest. That's one thing you can't do. You have to be honest to yourself. You are not to be hypocrite. You have to see for yourself that whatever you are doing is for your benevolence, is for your good, and that you have to do it because it is good for you to begin with, and then for the good of the humanity. You are doing for the good of the humanity. Now, some people who come for the first time will have lots of doubts because of ego. They have lots of doubts because of ego. How can that be? How can this be? All kinds of things they ask. Now, you have to say that first of all, you develop your insight. You develop your enlightenment. Your light is not sufficient. In the light only there are no doubts. Supposing in darkness you think that this table has no cover. It's all right. You can think whatever you like. But when there is light, you see for yourself there is a beautiful cover on top of this table. In the same way, it happens to us that we have to achieve a state. And once we achieve that state, then there's no question, there's no doubt, there's nothing, and you become so empowered. It is such a simultaneous thing. It works as soon as you achieve something, it works. When it works, then you are convinced. I'd say it is a very beautiful new chain starts within yourself, and then you really start enjoying your joy of yourself. But that portion for anyone is little risky. For anyone. If you have crossed that, then you are above it. But if you are still little bit in between, be careful. You can be deluded. You can be quite deceived about it, because we have all kinds of people in Sahaja. The door is open to everyone. We get many negative people also. They are still lingering on the periphery. And you are also on the periphery, then you meet those people. And you think, how can that be? This person was so bad. He says he's a Sahajogi, but he was like this, like this, like this. That shows one thing for definite, that if you see somebody of that kind, of that mentality which is not Sahaja, if you see someone who is not up to the mark and who behaves in a very mundane manner or maybe in a very ridiculous manner, know that that person is not a Sahajogi. But you have to be a Sahajogi. Don't judge Sahajoga by other people. You judge it by your own assent and by your own enlightenment. If you are not enlightened, you cannot see anything. Even if you are slightly enlightened and not enlightened fully, then you see other people. Don't see other people. See yourself. Seeing yourself, you will become more aware and more conscious. And once this awareness grows, you start seeing the truth as it exists. So for Sahajogis it is important, first of all, to watch themselves. Now we discovered that, you see, in the groups, and when we form a collective and when we start living together, see, some of the old style things still linger on. A common thing is a gossip. Christ has called them, beware of the murmuring souls. He knew that these will be coming back on the stage again when I will be here to tell you about Sahajoga. So he already told that beware of the murmuring souls. And these murmuring souls, first of all, their attention is not all right. Their attention is here and they're trying to find out something. And then they start talking about things, then they start creating problems. And they are somehow like to destroy your realization. They want that you should not achieve what you are achieving because they cannot achieve it. So then they say that somehow you should be destroyed. So they talk to you in a manner that you start doubting yourself. You start doubting Sahaja Yoga. Or else they start talking about others and try to create a problem for you. For that, I would say that nobody should talk to anyone about others. It's one of the tricks they can play. As we have in Ramayana, there was a maid servant called Manthara. That's why it said in Indian language that don't talk to people who are lower in levels. I don't mean lower in the way that people understand, but lower in levels as far as the spirituality is concerned. So this lady went and told the stepmother of Sri Rama, who loved Rama very much, that see now, when Rama becomes the king, your son will have no place and all those things. And she convinced her. By that the whole Ramayana was created and Rama had to go to the jungle. So all such people start talking. They talk in such a manner that you feel that, oh, that we are very important and the lady or the gentleman is taking so much interest in us and telling us this. And then this negative force starts forming a group among yourselves. And when such a group is formed, that group becomes anti-God, anti-Sahaja Yoga. And then it is a very big problem because the undercurrents start and they try to destroy your collective. So anybody starts talking ill of another person, just tell that person, shut up. I don't want to hear anything against anyone. If you have to say anything, go and tell the leader, but not me. I am not interested. You be interested in your ascent. If you are not interested in your ascent, then what you will do, you will watch other people. You look at others, you see how they are, not yourself. Now it is for your gain you have come to Sahaja Yoga, not for anybody else's gain. First of all, your gain. And once you gain something, then you can only help others to do something about it. So it is important to understand the first rule of Sahaja Yoga is that you look at yourself. How are you? Are you really progressing? Or you are worried about other things like your business, this, that. Or you are worried about your ascent. What are you worried about? Are you worried about your ascent? If you are worried about your ascent, what are you doing about it? That has to be the main object of life. The rest of the things follow it. Once you ascend, the whole cosmos can look after your problems. But you must ascend into the kingdom of God. That's the main point is. So, first of all, you have to ascertain about yourself. Am I ascending? Am I transforming? Am I giving up all my bad habits? Am I getting rid of my temper? Am I getting peaceful? Am I now sweet? Or am I now still the same horrible criticizer of others? Just put your attention to yourself and see for yourself. It's like a mirror. You start seeing yourself in the mirror, what's wrong with you. And then you try to correct it. Now, second point is that you must see your vibrations, what centers you are catching, yourself. For that you have to give yourself a bandhan. You give yourself a bandhan and see for yourself what's wrong with you. When you give yourself a bandhan, you will know about your chakras. And you'll be amazed. I have known some people who found out they had cancer. Through centers, they could say, Mother, we must be having cancer. And then it was discovered in time and we could manage it very well. Because they themselves found it. And then they asked me what to do and I told them and they got cured. When they went to the doctors, they said they had cancer. And once they cured themselves, they were all right. So that is how first pay attention to yourself. You find out what's wrong with you. Some of you might be having terrible ego. Then maybe you might be having a very bad Agya Chakra. Then you should find out, have you got Agya Chakra? This is ego. Then there's a very good remedy in Sahaja Yoga, which may look ridiculous, but it's very good remedy, is to beat yourself with shoes, as they know is the beating with the shoes. It's called as a shoe treatment. Now, then you have to go further. See, you find yourself that your right side is hot. What you do is to put your right side towards the photograph and left side up towards the ether. The ether takes away the heat. But what actually happens is that your right side gets the vibration and the heat is pushed towards your left and passes out into the ether. Now this heat comes from too much futuristic living. Those people who are too much futuristic, they have too much heat. And too much heat has to go away. And when this heat starts going away, then you are amazed how it works. For that there are various things we have to use, but mainly for right-sided people, they should not use any light at all. They should not sit in the sun. They should sit in the moonlight. They should read some poetry. They should not tie up watches. They should not look at time. They should allow the time to pass, and they should just become very sort of emotional people. They should sing songs of bhakti. They should not do hatha yoga. There are so many things they should not do if they are right-sided. You will be surprised how people have been helped through this kind of a treatment which treats one side of your being. The left-hand side people are the people, as you know, are the ones who are docile, who bear up lots of things from others and cry and weep and all the time, are on the loser's end. Such people have problems also, because all their organs are lethargic and they have problems of a lethargic heart, lethargic liver, lethargic intestines. Everything becomes very lethargic. All these left side things can be cured. Plus they might have some sort of a badha in them, in the sense they are possessed by someone. Of course, some of them are possessed by right side also. Not that only the left side is possessed, but from the right side also they are possessed. And left-sided possessions are of a peculiar type because they give you pain in the body. You get pains in the body. A right-sided person doesn't get any pain himself. He gives pain to others. He's very sarcastic, he's very aggressive. He troubles others. But the left-sided people have pains themselves. They get pain here and a pain there and pain here. So left side is to be cleared, as you know very well, through the light. Light is put before the photograph, left hand towards the photograph, right hand on the Mother Earth. So the left hand gets the light, and the light passes through, and the negativity of the left side passes through the right hand, and the right hand is on the Mother Earth. The Mother Earth is the one who sucks in all these negative forces of the left hand side. So these are the two sides which we clear. But once you have cleared these two sides, then you can use the photograph. Sit with your both the hands towards the photograph and put both the feet in the water, little bit of salt in it, and about 5-10 minutes you must allow vibrations to clear you out. Then wipe your feet, put the water properly into some disposal, and then sit down for meditation. If you can do that every day, even 10 minutes is more than sufficient. Don't have to do anything in an extreme manner. In the morning time, you have to give yourself a bandhan when you are going out. Don't go out without giving a bandhan. And attention should be all the time inside, in the sense that you're walking on the road, people have habit of seeing this, seeing that, seeing like that. The attention gets frittered away. What you should do is to see about 3 feet or 4 feet at the most from the ground, and not above, because you can see all the beautiful children, flowers, everything. There's nothing very beautiful about that. So better is to see only up 3-4 feet, if possible, to fix your attention, so the attention becomes concentrated and you feel very relaxed and relieved of too much of wobbling of your eyes. Eyes are very important. Very important, and as you will notice, because you are all realized souls, that your eyes now have got a glint, a kind of a light in the eye. And that light shows that you are realized souls. But to keep it up, you have to look at things which are not anti-God, which are not dirty, which are not filthy, which are against Sahaj religion, which is against Sahaj culture. If you can manage that, it is going to help you a lot. Now one has to understand that now we have come out of all man-made things, like man-made countries. We don't belong to America or to England or to India. We belong to the kingdom of God. In the universal country we have come. Now we have become universal beings. As we have become universal being, we don't even have all these dividing factors which divides human being as a race or any higher, lower caste. This is no more there. Moreover, now we have given up all man-made religions. We have entered into the religion what we call as the universal religion, the universal pure religion, and we should benefit that somehow or other we have managed to be there, to be in that universal pure religion. So, what is the content of this pure religion? We should know. What is this pure religion, universal pure religion has given us? First of all, it has given us self-realization. As a result of that, it has given us collective consciousness. It has given us powers to raise the kundalini of others. It has given us the source of compassion and love that acts, that works, and an attention which is effective. So many things it has given us. So it's not that when we follow that religion, we are like any other people who follow any religion, but we have certain powers. So these powers increase when we humble down. They do not increase with arrogance. With arrogance, one can only become stupid. That's the only end of arrogance and ego. So with this humility, one should know that now you belong to Sahaj culture, and Sahaj culture is that of humility. If you are not humble, then you have not yet achieved your Sahaj Yoga. While talking to others, I know there are people who are horrid, who are no good, who look to be absolutely satanic, but there's no need to be angry with them or to shout at them. I know how to do it, how to look after that side. You don't have to bother. You keep your poise, you keep your balance, and you keep your smile, and just manage the show. Don't get involved into another person. Don't get involved into discussions and arguments, but just your silence can also improve all that. Now as you grow up, then you will develop the discretion and proper idea how to react, how to work it out. But you have to allow that growth to manifest. By that you can raise the kundalini of many. I always say those who have raised the kundalini of 100 people are to be given certificate that they are Syogies. At least 100. That's in India. But here I would say if you have given realization to 10 people, they're very difficult people. First of all, one is equal to 100. So let us keep it 10 people. If you have given realization to 10 people, at least then we can say that you are a Syogi. And as you go on giving realization, you will enjoy that. Enjoy it. And then you will have more powers and more understanding. So best thing is that you should try to put your attention within yourself to see for yourself how far you have come through your vibrations. Know yourself, what is required in you. First and foremost thing, the light has to be clean. Then see how far you can reach your light, how far you can increase your dimension, how far you can go with others. I hope this small little explanation about your meditation and your method of rising and ascending will help you to grow further. But I don't mind if you have any questions, I would like to answer them. May God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless you. I would like to add, it should be a little lower. Now that's very low, that's very high. Left and right. Now, any questions?
In my everyday course of living, I run across people, and they're mean to other people, they're mean to myself, with no just cause or whatever. And I really have the reaction to want to be mean back or stick up for the person, and I know it's not good for me. So I would think, what can all of us do if someone's mean to us or mean to someone else to rise above it, or what can we know about it so that we can take care of the situation by grace?
The guy told me the story of a Chinese sage in the same way. Try to watch and witness. You see, somebody is something or screaming with something. Just watch. He'll keep quiet. Just watch him. Open your eyes. Oh. Or you can push it like that. Immediately the fellow will understand that he's stupid. See, you have to be above everything else. It's very simple. If somebody is saying like that, just watch that person. What is he up to? Anything else? Don't get involved. I think you should. I think I'll tell you what is to be done. It will work out. You should. Somebody has got rid of it, and I think we can work it out. All right? May God bless you. Anything else? Yes, please.
It's through meditation and through using the fire, and we try to be focused awareness, and we try to control our thinking. But many times what happens to me is, even though I meditate and thoughts come into my head, they just come all of a sudden. And I know they're not part of me. Is there a method to control these thoughts, even though we do meditate?
See, you must raise your Kundalini. Try to raise it. Put your attention to your Sahasrara. Say, Mother, come in my head. As soon as Kundalini crosses the ARYA, you cannot have those thoughts. You should allow this simple method also, that if you see any thought coming in, you should say, I forgive. I forgive is a very big mantra. Say that, thought will stop.
What does it mean when a house is struck by lightning?
House is struck by lightning. Whose house?
It's my wife and my house, and we're renting it to another person.
The person may not be all right. He might be misusing your house. Must be something wrong with him. Lightning is one thing, understands everything. Better get rid of that fellow.
This week we were talking about a similar experience that many of us have when we listen to your lectures, either mostly when we listen to the tapes or watch the videos. And if it happens to be those times when we're fortunate enough not to be to the left or to the right, but to be as centered as we can be, and we're listening attentively to everything you say, why is it that sometimes right afterwards someone would ask something about the tape, and often we can't remember consciously a word of what we heard? It wasn't that we were off thinking or that we were, upset. We were listening attentively, but then afterwards, it's not a conscious thing that we can recall or speak about. We were talking about that this week. It seems
What
to happen
happens?
often.
What happens?
That after listening to one of your tapes, sometimes we can't remember what you've said, even if it's not one of those times when we're to the left or to the right. If we seem to be relatively.
It has an effect, all right.
Yeah.
It has an effect. But after that, I think you all should go into meditation for a while. After listening to my lecture, you just go into my meditation. Actually, my lectures are not to be understood by your brains, but through your Kundalini and through your heart. So it doesn't matter if you don't remember something, it's all right. It's so many lectures I have given. How can you remember? I also don't remember much of it. But it will come handy. Whenever you want to use some words or sentence, it will come handy. You will not know from where it is coming. It's all recorded. It's all recorded. What about children? No problems? What's the question?
May I ask one question?
Please.
You said it is about anger. I think if someone misbehaves with you, I get very angry. Is it right or is it wrong?
It's right. That's the only time you should really be angry. Angry is spontaneous, but you need not do anything. I can look after myself. But reaction is correct. The reaction is correct.
Srimataji, if the children, when you ask them, say, to meditate, and they, I don't want to do it, do I have to put so? I don't know how to, I don't want to be, you have to do it, because then it wouldn't be. But what's the best way to approach them?
Oh, it's all right. Leave them alone. They are all right. No problem. They don't need it so much. Some of them are really born realized, and they'll take to it later on if they gather anything funny.
Whatever, all
Children? No, no, no. Don't be harsh with them. See, children should not be made to do something like that. They themselves will start doing it after some time when they see you doing it and all that. But don't spoil them. That's the point is. You see, we must know the discretion about it. Sometimes we spoil our children very much. Encourage them to be generous. Encourage them to be sharing. Encourage them to be compassionate. Encourage them to be kind to others. But if they are rude or they are harsh or you find they are quarreling, then you can slap them. It's all right. Yes, you have to. For 5 years you have to do that. In case, it's not a religious duty, but
Father, you spoke about the importance of us establishing ourselves in society, careers or professional jobs. How do we...
huh?
This is Paul.
uh,
How do we know how far to go in our professions and our careers, and how important they are, and when we have to say enough of that and live our lives as Saj Yogis, because it feels as though sometimes the things that we have to do as Saj Yogis come into conflict with our profession.
no, it cannot be, you see. Now take a profession of any kind that you have. You have to do it in a sahaja manner, that you don't too much deliberately plan it and think about it. It will come your way. If you believe that the whole cosmos is trying to help you, the whole cosmos will bring forth everything before you, and it will work out. You don't have to do much effort to think about it, what should I choose, whether I should take this or whether I should take that. Only thing what you have to do is to see for yourself that you are watching and seeing an opportunity coming to you, and allow the opportunity to appear before you. It does. Don't have to deliberately bother your head what to take here, what to do. That you need not do. It will just be there. You'll be amazed how it works. I'll give you an example. Recently, there's one Mr. Hari Jairam. He is a mediocre, I would say. He's not a very great scientist or anything, but he does physics, MSc or something. And he was not doing very well. As such, he was just mediocre. Suddenly, he discovered a switch by which he could change the waves of the microwave thing or something. And he didn't know how he discovered it. He was quite amazed. And they gave him a promotion, everything. And they said that you have to come and give a lecture about it. And he didn't know how he did it. So he telephoned to me, Mother, please tell me how you did it. I said, you just close your eyes, think of me and give a lecture. And he was amazed how he could explain everything. It's a question of how far you are surrendered, how far you are one with the divine. It all works out. Don't have to do deliberations much. Don't have to worry too much about things. It will all come your way. Because you have now entered into the kingdom of God. Right? Everything is looked after. Can't imagine how small things it works out. How in details it works out. It's very surprising. Not for me, for everyone. For everyone. And they tell me, Mother, I don't know how it has worked out. So, when you are dissolved in that ocean, it is that ocean which takes you up and down and enjoy it, that's all. So you should leave it to that ocean to decide for you. Yeah.
It seems in Boston especially, but on the East Coast, that people are very closed-hearted, not very warm, and it seems to be the major block for talking to people about Saji Yoga. And why is this? What can we do
I don't know. Actually, East should be better than the West, normally. But everything is upside down in America. Because Eastern people, you see, are always bombarded by, say, Japanese, by other people who are industrialists, this, that, and put money before everything else. And they live in a way that there's big competition for everything, and people have to fight. I was happy that you got this place little far away from the madding crowd. In New York, you really feel you'll go mad if you stay there. It's such a funny place. You are on the boulevard or you are in the office running about, you don't know where you are. So the impact of all these frictions and competitions and these ideas pouring from outside, all this works out. And that makes us feel rather funny. But the heart can be opened out by Sahaja Yoga by one thing, by saying, Mother, come in my heart. Just say it 12 times, it works. And for the brain you can say 7 times, it works. I am available to you. That's very important for you people on this coast to say and to open your hearts. In the spiritual seeking. In the spiritual speaking, there is a speed is not felt at all. See, in that you just feel the state. Your state you feel. You don't feel the speed. You don't feel that you must do, like I have seen some people, even when I am giving lecture, that like this, or they are doing like that. This madness is not necessary. Just be quiet. Quietude is the best way to ascend. I have said that there should be thoughtless abandon. Just do it quietly. Your speed will reduce actually. Will come to a position when it is maximum for your quietude. Quietness within. Peace within. That's very important. If there is peace, you will grow. There's no other way out. But you see all this ritualism, sometimes giving bandhan all the time, or raising kundalini all the time, and people even would like to see the table if it has vibrations. See, that's going too far. There's no need to do all that nonsense. Sahaja Yoga is sense, is not nonsense.
Mother, may I ask an intellectual question?
All right.
Is there any difference between witnessing and paying attention, or using the attention?
Witnessing and?
Between witnessing, when one is witnessing in meditation, and when one is paying attention. I'm not exactly sure how to ask the question. Is there a difference between witnessing and attention?
Oh, I mean, witnessing is very different from paying attention. Paying attention is a deliberate thing. You deliberately pay attention, see, to something. As I am talking, you may not be realized, you may be realized, you can pay attention to me. But witnessing is a state. Say, I have seen with myself what happens. If there's a problem, or there's some calamity, something, suddenly I find I'm witnessing the whole thing like a drama. It's a state. But you can develop it. If you remember. I mean, at that time people don't remember. Supposing you see some calamity coming to you. Just try to witness the calamity. I'll tell you some examples of this. Once went for a newspaper meeting, newspaper people meeting me, some sort of a press meeting, Marathi people, and out of them there was one fellow called Mr. Kelkar. And he said, Mother, I know all about you. I said, how? He said, I have a friend called Mr. Marathe, and both of us were coming down the ghats. You know what are the ghats are when you go on the hillside. And our brake failed, and the car started sliding down. And suddenly we saw a very big truck coming all the way. And we didn't know what to do because we could not stop the car on one side. And we just thought, now we are going to be finished with this. And suddenly he told me that, Kelkar, you close your eyes and just say Shri Mataji, that's all. And suddenly we found that we had crossed that and we were on the other side while the truck was going that side. After all, it's God. It's God, you know. And what is God? I've told you the story about my father's aunt. She told me once a story, very nice story about God. She said that there was one gentleman who was going to see God. I mean, it's a grandmother's story, so you can understand. And he was going on his way. He met a gentleman who was doing lots of tapasya, standing on one leg, one foot, one head, like that. He was going on and on. So he said, you are going to see God? Yes. Will you tell God that I want to take your darshan? When will you come? I am working very hard. I am doing all these things. I have done all the rituals, everything. When will I see? He said, all right, I'll tell him. So then he met a gentleman who was lying down near the tree on the way. And he said, oh, come along. You are going to see God? Yes. Please tell him he has not sent my food so far. I am waiting for it. So he was quite amazed. Look at this lazy lump sitting there and ordering God. So he went to God and saw him. And then all his work was done, whatever it was. And while coming he said that, sir, I have a problem. There are two people. One is working very hard and he is doing fasting and he is doing all kinds of things, and he wants to know, when will you meet? He said, tell him still to work a little more. See, still he needs working. And then he said that I met another one, a lazy lump. So he just has said he has not yet received the food. And what about the food? He said, no, he hasn't received. Oh God. He called people, oh, come along, this, that. I said, must arrange immediately. How is it he has not received the food? So I was quite amazed, this fellow. God said, now you see why I was worried. You will not understand. But you do one thing. When you go down, you tell them one story. Tell them that when you went to God, you saw that he passed one camel through the nose of a needle. And see, you will get your answer. Went down. First he met this man who was doing all these exercises and this and that. He said, what did God say to you? He said, yes, you have to do some more and still work hard. You see, it's still not all right. So he said, but what did you see? You had been there. He said, I saw it, very great miracle that God passed a camel through the nose of through the eye of a needle. Passed through the eye of a needle? How can it be? It's impossible. What was the needle size? Just normal size. He said, how can that be? What was the size of the camel? Just normal size. How did it pass? So he did. So he went to another man. And he said, oh, I've got the food. I just wanted to test you. See, it's all right. I know God will look after me. So he said, what did you see? He said, I saw a miracle that a camel was passed through the eye of a needle. He said, what is there a miracle? It's God. Do you know He's God? He's God Almighty. What is there for one camel? He can pass universes after universes. He's God after all. That's what He's God. And He's God Almighty. Anything is possible. We were in not only me, but I'll say there is one Syogi. He is a fisherman by birth, but he is also working, he's a graduate, so he's working in a bank. He's a wonderful man. And one day he decided to go across to another island to talk about me and talk about Syogi. And he came out of his house and he found that it was all very much about to burst out into a storm. He stood up there. He said, "See now, I am going for my mother's work, for your mother's work also. And please behave yourself. Till I come back, you dare not do anything." See, he addressed to them. He took his boat, went to another island. He preached there. He gave them realization, came back home, and when he was about to sleep, it started rumbling. He said, "Now it's all right, go ahead." We have people of that kind, of that level, of that variety. You can control everything because after all, you have entered into the kingdom of God. Anything is possible. It is God. He is almighty. He can do anything. Even to feel that, you rise high. That settles it. May God bless.
अब हम सब श्री माता जी के चरणों में आरती करेंगे।
सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी, दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना माँ, सब Shri Nirmala Namo Namaha Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalki Sakshat Shri शक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देवी की जय।
श्री माता जी, आज इस ध्यान के माध्यम से जो परम चैतन्य की आशीर्वाद और प्रेम हम सभी को मिला है, इनके लिए आपके श्री चरण कमल में कोटि कोटि प्रणाम और हृदय से धन्यवाद करते हैं श्री माता जी। जय श्री माता जी।